Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what is a fact about the human body that not many people know about? Your bone marrow produces red blood cells. Your kidneys produce a hormone that signals the bone marrow to produce these cells. Without kidney function, you don't make new blood. Edit: yes, I know it's called erythropoietin. People have mentioned it numerous times on this thread alone. Who even needs kidneys these days? I'm still waiting for my adulties. The hyoid bone is a bone not attached to any other bones in the human body and is only considered the anchor of the tongue. It's also an indicator of the type of strangulation occurs if it's manual or physical. As it's he bone that kills you / breaks when people hang. One such suicide by hanging did not have his hyoid bone broken. Edit: thank you for the silvers, guys. So what you're saying is that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Our brains make up, on average, around 2% of our body weight but consume 20% of our caloric intake. Riddle me this, Batman. What's 2% of the body weight yet commits 20% of our caloric intake? D's nuts. This has had evolutionists baffled for a long time. In a world without agriculture, there is no way a species can realistically justify 20% of its calorific intake going to thinking. Without 20% of calorific intake going towards thinking, agriculture doesn't start. There are also more neurons in a healthy human brain than there are stars in the observable universe. I forgot what the principle was called, but I can describe it. In evolution, there are adaptations that are beneficial, but cannot be reached because the adaptations needed to get to that point would be a hindrance. Like, say, humans with wings. It would sure be nice, but the required adaptation to get to that point would put you at a disadvantage. So it is impossible to reach that level of adaptation in the wild. I think it accurately describes the human brain. There are also more neurons in a healthy human brain than there are stars in the observable universe. This is simply not true. There are between 100 and 400 billion stars in the Milky Way. There are an estimated 10,000 galaxies in the Hubble Ultra-Deep Field Photograph, which is an area in the sky about 1/10 the size of a full moon, which would be less than 0.0000000 of the total area surrounding the Earth. We can therefore estimate a number of stars on the order of quintillions in the observable universe. That's roughly the total number of cells in tilde a million tilde 100,000 people. Humans have, on average, just as many hairs on their body as chimpanzees. Human hair is just a lot shorter and finer. And mostly on my ass. There are tiny cilia that spin in a certain direction. If they spin in the opposite direction while you're developing in the womb earlier on, that is how you get organs transposed onto the opposite side of your body. I remember we had a doctor visit our school during Careers Week who said he'd met 3 patients with flipped organs, and each time he called in a medical student and asked them to take the patient's heartbeat. Apparently it was really funny watching the student put the stethoscope on the left side, and seeing the color drain from their face. I was housemates with a medical student for a bit and he didn't believe me when I told him this was a thing. Flat out denied it. I'd like to say then he encountered it, but I just pulled up Wikipedia on my phone. But it was still kinda weird how certain he was that it wasn't a thing. I've heard that some twins can have mirrored organs. Crazy stuff. Yup, mirror twins happen when twins that originated as one embryo split into 2 later than usual. Though mirrored organs are rare even in mirror twins often have the same birthmark on opposite sides, cowlicks on opposite sides of the hairline, or the hair grows out of their scalps in opposite spiral patterns. Sciovial joint fluid is the most frictionless stuff on the planet, unless they've syntheticed something up that recently. It's super lube. I know what I must do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Just use WD-40 BRO. A little hard to clean up after but gets the job done. Edit: my bad, apparently WD-40 is not a lubricant and will make it even drier. Someone recommended mayo, so we'll give that a try. When my car door was squeaky with rust, I put some of my Sciovial joint fluids on the hinges and now it opens and closes perfectly. Now I just need to reattach my shoulder. When doing surgery where the doctors have to take out some organs, when placing them back, they don't have to be put back in the exact position they're meant to be. Your body kind of just moves the organs into the correct position after the surgery. Yeah, I had a pelvic surgery recently and the surgeon casually mentioned, oh yeah, we moved your bowels around a bit, so that's what's causing the gas pains. Medical procedures are always unsettling because the professionals are so used to it, so you get things like this where they are not worried but you're like, what did you say? Also, when you receive a kidney transplant, they don't usually remove your old ones, because it's very invasive. They just sort of pop it into a more convenient spot. That's why kidney donors typically have a longer recovery time than recipients. If you faint at the sight of your own blood, you may have an oversensitive vasovagal response. The theory is that this developed as a survival mechanism, kind of like an opossum playing dead. Oh, I've just always diagnosed myself as a pussy. Pregnant women have 50% extra blood. Gee, is that why they are often said to look radiant and stuff? Yep. The pregnant glow is more blood and oilier skin. You can grow a new human being faster than most missing toenails can grow back. I lived this last year. I was about a month into my pregnancy when I caught my toe on something in the garage. It peeled back the top half of the nail, but I quickly pushed it back down, and to my surprise the nail stayed on even though it bled then turned black after. I remember being about 8 months pregnant and wondering if the toenail would be finished growing out so no more black showed by the time the baby arrived. I think I still had a sliver of black when I gave birth. So that took about 8 months for just the top half of the toenail to grow out. Thank you. This was horrifying to read. You hate the sound of your recorded voice because it's missing the low frequency you're used to hearing. When you talk, you hear your voice as it goes to the air and back to your ear. It also goes through your skull to your ear, and this bone conduction mechanism transmits the low frequencies better than air does. Your recorded voice only has the air transmitted sound. That causes the dissonance between what you think your voice sounds like, and what it really does. It's also why your voice will, almost, always be higher pitched than you think. My voice is always lower pitched on recording though. Does that have to do with anything, or is it normal? That's the almost part. There's a bunch of possible reasons that may be, but I prefer the simplest one. Some people are just made weird. There's a few of you out there, but it's not common. That explains why people say I have a cute little voice when I always heard myself as sounding all baritone for a lady. Ooh, so that means my voice sounds like the recordings to other people. Audio engineer here. Yes and number. First off, you're not hearing your own voice objectively. Your brain goes, that's different and therefore gross, whereas nobody who isn't you thinks it sounds gross. Second, audio recording isn't perfect. The human ear and psyche is more accurate hearing a voice face to face than over a recording. Third, this is more just personal experience. Everyone talks different when they think they're on mic anyway. There's a right and a wrong way to swallow, and the first swallow pattern you learn isn't the right one. Babies swallow by pushing their whole tongue forward, since it's better for nursing. However, as you transition to solid foods, you are supposed to change to a swallow where you put the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth and roll the food back. Not everyone does, and those that don't are more likely to choke, eat too fast, develop dental problems, and some develop a lisp or distorted sounds as they learn to talk. Okay, so I've been trying all the ways in the comments and I've discovered I can swallow with my tongue in any position, even poking out of my open mouth. And now I can't remember how I normally swallow. Help. I wonder how many other people are currently gagging on their own tongue trying this out, and realizing they never progressed beyond baby swallowing. That sounds all kinds of wrong. The reason it's so easy to break your collarbone is because it's designed to break. The way it was explained to me is that it's like a circuit breaker. It breaks there to stop the shock of impact getting to your spine. Edit. For all those taking issue with it, designed is just the word I used. I am not trying to argue or implicate the hand of a higher power. I am not going to change it. If I believe in a God or not really has nothing to do with it. It's a discussion about the human body, not religion. You all just need to chill, you are beans, who really cares? I don't. Better than breaking your spine and getting paralyzed, I suppose. Yup, hurts like hell but at least it heals. Same thing with our sinuses. They are a crash zone for your face and skull. Haha, I won't argue with your experience given the name. Although I am a gifted amateur. Your eyes have a separate immune system from the rest of your body, and in a lot of occasions if your body's immune system finds your eyes, they will assume they are a foreign body and blind you. Eyes have immune privilege, as do the testicles, edit, and ovaries have immunosuppressive follicular fluid, look at me forgetting my own balls. And the central nervous system sorta. Also the placenta and fetus, edit, and more. This isn't a full list of immune privileged sites. The normal inflammation immune response will fuck all those things completely up. They all have different ways of dealing with it, but can still get infections and autoimmune diseases. Eyes have immune privilege, as do the testicles. Diplomatic immunity for the areas that need it the most. WTF. The human body's immune system is a twitchy redneck with a bad eye and a really big shotgun. Certain types of eye injuries often result in the loss of both eyes since the injury to one eye sets off the immune response which kills the other. Peak human evolution. Ow, my left eye just went blind. Right eye, my time has come.